evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Thursday, November 17, 2022. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. New Chamber of Commerce being set up to boost trade between Guyana and Europe. Ali urges U.S. firms to consider smaller investments that have potential to grow. Private sector wants increase in services that oil and gas firms must procure from Guyanese. St. Patrick Church goes up in flames, and 14 rogue police officers face legal consequences for the year so far. Now for the news in detail. European Ambassador to Guyana René van Ness has revealed that works are progressing on the establishment of an EU-Guyana Chamber of Commerce, and he has stressed the need for more private sector cooperation between Europe and Guyana. Here is our lead story tonight.
We are really making good progress on establishing an EU-Guyana Chamber of Commerce, and I have a number of people here that are very instrumental in making that happen. 2 words on that chamber. First is that I consider today the very first concrete step in coming closer to that Chamber of Commerce, because this is where Guyanese companies working with Europe and European companies working in Guyana meet. You are here tonight, and that is the first step, because it is all about people-to-people connections.
That was EU Ambassador to Guyana René van Ness speaking at a reception on Wednesday evening. He noted that a Chamber of Commerce will serve to further strengthen relations between European and Guyanese private sectors.
I want to have a chamber that provides quality support both to European companies that want to come here and to Guyanese companies that have an interest in working with the EU. So I invite all of you who have ideas, who have suggestions to that effect, to come to me and share your suggestions.
According to the ambassador, there is already a large EU presence in Guyana, but with the country having endless opportunities, he wants to see more EU companies coming here.
EU private sector that is here, those that are pioneering working in this beautiful country. A few examples. The new gas-to-shore installation will use Siemens high-tech in order to operate. SBM and Saipem are of critical importance for the oil exploitation. Jan de Nul is one of the world's largest dredging companies, and without them there will be no access to the port. We have Volvo trucks that will help build the road to Latham. Guyana is a country of endless opportunities now, and therefore I really want to bring more EU private sector to the country. Due to our shared values and our common interests and common objectives for a smarter and a greener and a more inclusive economy, I think the EU is the natural partner for Guyana. Guyana is one of the most exciting places to be and one of the most exciting places to do business in. And I will pass that message loud and clear to Brussels, to Paris, to Helsinki, to Prague, to Amsterdam, and to everyone in Europe who still has not got this message.
Guyana already has chambers of commerce with the USA and Canada.
President Dr. Irfan Ali has encouraged the visiting trade mission from the United States to not only go after the big opportunities, but to also consider small and medium-sized investments that have the potential to grow. Here are the details.
Don't only look for the big apple. Don't only look for the big opportunities. There are many medium-sized opportunities that has the potential to grow into large, long-term benefits. All right? And the guys from Exim, US Exim are here. Make full use of them. I hope the local private sector will sit down with the team also in partnership with their counterpart and look at some of the low-hanging fruits that we can move quickly with.
President Dr. Irfan Ali delivering remarks at a reception hosted by the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown in honor of the Louisiana Trade Mission's visit to Guyana to explore business opportunities here. President Ali further gave a brief overview of his government's plans for the diversification of its economy. In so doing, he pointed out that Guyana intends to be a leader, not only in oil and gas.
We are going to be a major leader in climate services, environmental services, ecological services, and biological services. We are going to be perhaps among the top 5 countries we're going to be a leader in food production, and fresh water is going to become a new sought after resource. And in all of these areas, we have great potential. We have the added gift of the revenues from oil and gas today that must be used to unlock the potential of all these other advantages we have.
Noting that the country is bursting with investment opportunities, the head of state spoke of his intention to position Guyana as a hub for reverse logistics.
From northern Brazil, you can have all the imports that the U.S. need. How do we ensure that the U.S. export gets into Brazil through Guyana as a logistics hub, and then we go up back the chain, because we'll create demand for shipping on both sides, which will reduce the cost of shipping.
The companies in the mission represent over $238 billion in annual revenue and employ tens of thousands around the world. In total, the U.S. firms engaged with more than 70 local organizations in Guyana's private and public sectors.
The private sector today lobbied for an increase in the services that oil and gas companies and their subcontractors must procure from Guyanese, as prescribed by the Local Content Act. Those services currently number at 40. Rupa Sinarain tells us more.
The Private Sector Commission's Sensitization and Local Content Forum, hosted on Thursday, was aimed at garnering feedback on the first schedule of the Local Content Act. The first schedule sets out the minimum threshold in relation to the procurement of goods and services. There are 40 areas with local participation up to 100%. Chairman of the PSC, Paul Chung, underlined that advocating for local content has always been high on the agenda, as he called for an expansion to these 40 categories.
We believe the time to expand those 40 categories is now. The capacity and the skill of the Guyanese have expanded. Many companies have invested and have established partnerships. The Commission is pushing for more opportunities for Guyanese businesses.
He commended the Natural Resources Ministry in addressing the payment period, but shared concerns in relation to contract bundling. According to Chung, these are issues which should be monitored and addressed using the legislation. Meanwhile, regarding the private sector's calls, Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat recognized that there is a capacity deficit which should be analyzed beforehand.
What I would like to say to the private sector is that in order to truly achieve local content, we have to build capacity. That's the only way we're going to achieve local content. We can quarrel all day that, you know what, increase it from 40 to 80, increase it from 25 to 100, but do we have the capacity to do it? And to do it effectively, efficiently, cost-effective, and to be competitive regionally and internationally. With regards to the schedule, we made a commitment that we will do an assessment on the 31st of December 2022. 2022, we are going to do an assessment of the local content legislation, of the schedule, the 40 services that are offered here. And then we will have to look at our capacity. I know personally that we've built a lot of capacity over the last year.
In December, an assessment of the first schedule will be conducted, looking at the 40 services currently outlined for Guyanese and the possibilities of modifying after looking at the country's skill threshold. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
The Ministry of Health is developing a strong surveillance network which Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony says will be used for COVID-19 monitoring as well as for other emergency situations. Here is Rupa Sinarain again with the details.
For some weeks, the country was reporting minimal infections daily from the novel coronavirus. However, the health minister said there has been a different trend in the statistics, a reminder that Guyana has not yet exited the pandemic and persons should continue wearing their masks. Across the country, 68 active cases are being tracked.
We are seeing increase in cases and increase in hospitalization. So people ought to be very careful, and when possible they should use their masks. We are still in a current pandemic, and we have to be mindful and take precautions. The virus that causes COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, has many variants and subvariants, and it's continuously evolving, mutating, and based on the subvariants, we will see different types of clinical presentation.
At the Health Ministry, work is ongoing to develop a strong surveillance network that can be used for COVID-19 and beyond. This is also in preparation for future pandemics and disasters.
We have strengthened surveillance, so again, we would be able to detect cases across the country if whatever the pandemic would be. We have a stronger system of surveillance. We have also formed a unit within the ministry that can do rapid response. So this unit is made up of epidemiologists, public health specialists, and we also have infectious disease specialists. So whatever presents itself, we have this team that can go out, look at symptoms, look at signs, look at the epidemiology.
The ministry has also been working with several multilateral institutions in relation to pandemic preparedness, including discussions with PAHO WHO to strengthen existing systems. Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
Coming up, unidentified body found stuffed under bridge at Brick Dam, and Guyana unveils 6 new tourism products. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Optic offers great patient care that is tailored for my entire family.
At Optic, a wide selection of affordable optical frames and optical services are available to fit your budget.
At Optic, my family is provided with comprehensive eye examination and access to the ophthalmology services, all under one roof.
Optic takes pride in delivering exceptional customer service and a unique experience to you, our customers.
Optic Vision Care is a company that is Guyanese born and grown that will help you take care of your precious eyes.
Play our virtual Chick Chick game today and get a chance to win big. With over 450 draws, 3 dices, and 52 bet types to choose from. You can also be a winner with SuperBet. Visit www.superbet.gy or any one of our agents closest to you. Play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 18 years and over.
Ocho. 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 Organic Ocho candy. What's inside counts.
As a luxury mechanic, I'm often asked, what gas should I use in my expensive vehicle? In other countries, you have regular and mid-grade gasoline known as 87, 89, and premium gasoline known as octane 93 to 95. Guy Oil sells octane 95 known as Super 95 premium gasoline. Super 95 protects your carburetor and fuel injection system. For affordable, high-quality fuel, performance, and high mileage, visit Guy Oil today. Choose Guy Oil Super 95. Guy Oil, we are everywhere.
Premier insurance coverage for less. Stay safe. For bid, performance, retention, advanced mobilisation or customs bonds, bond with us. Fuel your success. Call 223-0840 or visit premierinsurance.gy. Premier Insurance. Premier Insurance coverage.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. Authorities are working to identify a body which was found stuffed under a bridge outside of the Schooler and Gomes Optical Services building on Brick Dam, Georgetown. The lawmen were called to the area at around 17 hours on Wednesday. Upon arriving at the scene, cops spent hours trying to break the bridge, which is partially concealed, to reach the body. Neighbors said that for days they had been smelling a foul odor in the area and had thought it was emanating from the body of a dead animal. Reports are that Schooler and Gomes Business Place, in an effort to get rid of the smell, had decided to clean the trench in front of their property when the body was discovered under the concrete bridge. Investigations are ongoing. Considered one of the oldest churches in the country, the St. Patrick Anglican Church, located in Region 6, went up in flames this morning. The church, which was established over 180 years ago, is the oldest church in the parish and might be the third oldest church in the entire Berbice. Our Berbice correspondent, Andrew Carmichael, has the details.
Fire was spotted at the St. Patrick Anglican Church located at Rose Hall, East Kanji at around 5 hours on Thursday. By the time firefighters arrived, the building was completely engulfed in flames. Reverend Ezra Minty said worship had not been in the building for over a year. Reports are that the building was off-grid and had been without electricity.
Because we were planning on renovating the church.
Just in the meantime, where were members going?
They were worshipping at All Saints and St. Columba.
Reverend Minty believed that a fire was deliberately set, pointing out that there were several breakages in recent months.
We had a few break-in through one of the side doors.
What real valuables might have been destroyed this morning?
Not too much of valuable, but however we had certain church items in there, including the font. You had a tank, and of course washroom and so on facilities in there. The pews, and of course the altar.
Meanwhile, Divisional Fire Officer Clive MacDonald said there was not much firefighters could have done to save the building.
About 04:30 hours this morning, we received a call at our operations room about a fire at the St. Patrick's Anglican Church. Immediately, 2 tenders dispatched. On arrival, the crew made an assessment. The building was completely engulfed in flames. Immediately, they went into action to suppress and stop the spread of fire.
He too believes that the fire was deliberately set.
It is our belief that that fire, based upon my experience and my knowledge in firefighting, that fire was in the building a pretty long time, because we know what is being a church. Chairs, benches, the fire load is not much, but taking to note that the structure is an old structure, a historical structure. So once a fire started in there, it will spread, and it will spread rapidly because of it's been compromised because the building is old.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
The Guyana Tourism Authority has launched 6 new tourism products with the aim of giving tourists, both local and foreign, new experiences in exploring the country. Find out more in this report.
These new products are a tourism rainforest escape, a Georgetown bar hopping experience, a Lake Kapui tour, the Laguan Wakenam Hog Island tour, and a farm-to-table experience at PROCURE, and a multi-activity Yarakaber experience. Local tour operator Wanderlust Adventures GY is responsible for the rainforest escape, the bar hopping experience, and the agri-tour farm-to-table experience at PROCURE in Region 3. Meanwhile, Trailmasters Guyana, another local tour operator, will be responsible for the Tri-Island Tour, the Yarracabra experience, and the Lake Kapui trip. At the launching ceremony, which took place at the Promenade Garden in Georgetown, head of the Guyana Tourism Authority, Kamal Bashk, explained that these new packages are expected to boost the local tourism industry.
After the development of these new products, it is important to put the product in the marketplace. And we are committing to, again, increasing our presence at trade shows in the key markets so that we could have the right representation. And what we want to do is to increase the level of private sector participation at these trade shows. We want the operators there, we want the accommodation providers there, we want the guides there. And we will provide that facility, of course, so that you can reach a broader target audience.
He noted that for next year, the goal is to introduce newer tourism products, and he is encouraging operators to pitch their ideas to the GTA.
We've seen operators venturing out into areas that have historically been neglected. For example, in Berbice, we're seeing new experiences birthed there. We've seen in Region 2 on the Essequibo Coast with the Great Lakes being packaged. We're seeing in Region 7, we're seeing in Region 8 as well, packaging the waterfalls. Come next year, we will facilitate a greater number of fact-finding missions, product assessments, so that we can move assessments at scale, so that we could complete, the ground research, so that we could move the packaging at a faster rate. So next year and beyond, if you have an idea, tour operators, if you think that an attraction could be packaged, please reach out to myself, the Product Development Division, or anyone at the GTA, and let us know what you found.
As the Guyana Police Force continues to weed out corrupt and rogue officers from within its ranks, it has been announced that some 14 cops have faced legal consequences for their ill-intended actions for the year so far. Lawanda McAllister reports.
According to a recent United States report on human rights in Guyana, in 2021, Guyana saw 11 police officers arrested and charged with multiple counts of fraud, conspiracy, and larceny for inflating the costs of meal procurement for police officers and keeping the difference. During a press conference on Tuesday, Crime Chief Wendell Blanham revealed that for the year so far, 14 officers were charged with criminal offenses.
Here is a breakdown of the various offenses. Murder, 1. Corruption, 3. Conspiracy to obstruct the course of justice, 1. Obstructing the course of justice, 2. Assault causing actual bodily harm, 1. Simple larceny, 1. Assault, 2. Larceny by a public officer, 1. And trafficking in narcotics, 2. Which gives you a total of 14.
Despite their role as public servants, some of the men and women who swear an oath to keep communities safe continue to find themselves in these controversial situations over the years. Just recently, 2 police officers in Division 6, Ramesh Chitturam and Marlon Kadu, appeared before the court to face charges for an alleged corruption transaction. The cops allegedly demanded $400,000 from a civilian to hide a case involving the discovery of an illegal firearm. Shortly after, the regional top cop issued a stern warning to officers about police corruption. He said that once found guilty, they will face the full force of the law. Lawanda McAllister, reporting for the Evening News.
When it comes to the things Guyana can do to increase its industrial capacity in tandem with regional producers, the pursuit of a refinery and the gas-to-shore project are just a few things it's on the right track with so far. Gerald Bryan tells us more.
Recently, the Guyana Business Journal held a webinar series where they invited experts on a panel to discuss Guyana's role in a world that still needs oil. In his presentation, Professor Anthony Bryan, an energy consultant in the Caribbean and Latin America, listed some possible actions Guyana can take as part of its regional energy strategy. One such action is to seek to compete internationally with cheap energy and boosts its industrial capacity in tandem with regional producers.
I think the issue of a refinery is one of those things that has to be dealt with, to say nothing of the gas to shore positions, which are costly, but if they result in cheaper energy, then so be it.
Other important steps include investing heavily in agriculture and capitalizing on Guyana's carbon sink credentials.
First, of course, has to do with the forests, which have created environmental space for simultaneous development of its oil resources and its net carbon sink credentials. So, bluntly, Guyana should capitalize on the leverage that this conjunction offers as the world moves to net zero.
Guyana is currently getting its carbon credit certified by the Architecture for REDD+ Transactions, ART. The government has also issued a request for proposals to design, finance, and build a 30,000 barrels of oil per day refinery. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Friday, November 18th at 0 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Friday, November 18th at 12:40 hours for a period of 1.5 hours.
60th edition of National Schools Championship to begin on November 27, and West Indies batsmen warm up with 50s in Australia. Details of these stories in the Sportcast, sponsored by Macorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
It's November already and soon it will be Christmas, so we at John Lewis Styles are giving away one Amazon Echo show every week in November and every day in December. Stream music and videos, make video calls and control smart devices, alarms, reminders and lots more. Every $5,000 spent gives you a chance to win when you shop for clothing, footwear, watches, fragrances, handbags, luggage and accessories. So visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles, simply different.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
As a luxury mechanic, I'm often asked, what gas should I use in my expensive vehicle? In other countries, you have regular and mid-grade gasoline known as 87, 89, and premium gasoline known as octane 93 to 95. Guy Oil sells octane 95 known as Super 95 premium gasoline. Super 95 protects your carburetor and fuel injection system. For affordable, high-quality fuel, performance, and high mileage, visit Guy Oil today. Choose Guy Oil Super 95. Guy Oil, we are everywhere.